Hello and welcome to this IdSurvey 6 webinar. So today we're finally going to see all the new features that we've introduced in IdSurvey 6. And I hope that you're all ready and that you can see the audio correctly. If you have any question, you can ask your question in the chat, where our team is available to answer to your questions. And right now we're going to start with this overview. So as you can see, I'm in the admin interface. I will log in to show you how it looks like now. So as far as graphic interface, we've redesigned a little bit about it, but I wouldn't say it's the most important new feature that you can find in IdSurvey 6. So some news. In all the different sections, you will find little things that we've introduced as new features, and we're going to send you some newsletter, including some tips on IdSurvey, where you can discover what these little new features are. In utility sections, obviously, we've introduced a new type of license, which is license for emails that you can send with the email sender. And we've also introduced the tokens limit, so possibility to enable a limit of use for tokens that you have, so that you decide each day how many tokens you want to be able to use on your CATI interface. All the main news are included in the service section. So we'll go into the service section. And this is the list of surveys that you can see in your new IdSurvey 6 interface. So one big news is the test mode icon that we'll see in a moment. Then you will still have your surveys one by one in chronological order in the list of surveys page. You can still create a new survey clicking on the plus button. You have the options button, and then you have the folders button. But now we are going to see a little bit more in detail what you have new in IdSurvey 6, going inside a specific survey that we have in here. So we will start with settings section, second icon of my survey menu, exactly as it is now. So in settings sections, you have all settings that you can decide about your surveys. So you have settings for CATI, for CAWI, and for CAPI, exactly as you have now, but we've introduced some news about them. First thing is the test mode. So when you create a new survey in IdSurvey 6, by default, you will have it set in test mode, as it is now. So during test mode, you can create your questionnaire, you can import your contact list, you can import your quotas, you can do some test interviews exactly as you do now. But in IdSurvey 6, you don't have to use the duplicate anymore. But when you're ready to start and collect real data, all you have to do is just to disable test mode and enable Go Live button. When the Go Live button is enabled, you are ready to really collect the data. That means that in your database, in your data output file, you will find just the data that you collected during Go Live phase. As I said before, during test mode, you're available to test everything. So you can also send links of your CAWI surveys to your customers to test them. You can test the CATI interface, the CAWI interface, everything. So for example, let's see a little bit more in detail what it looks like when you have your survey in test mode and you can test it with one of the interfaces. So I will open up the CAWI interface now, just to show you how it looks like. So while it is in test mode, you will see this bar on the upper part of the page. When you enter the actual questionnaire, on this bar you have some buttons on the right, which are this one. So with these buttons, you're able to move around in your survey. So you're able to jump to a previous page, a previous question, to jump to a specific page or question. In this way, you can decide what you want to see and what you want to test and to control, to check, without having to do the entire questionnaire. You can jump through the questionnaire to the pages to really check what you're interested in. And you can also decide if to display or not codes of pages, question and answer options to make the test a little bit more easier and faster for you to check. So when you go live, obviously this bar won't be displayed, and you will have the standard interface for CAWI exactly as you have now, so the usual interface that you're used to. And this same test mode bar is also displayed in CAWI interface. So also while you are in CAWI interface, you are able to test your survey, to let your interviewers enter the questionnaire and test the questionnaire so that they can get used to the logic and to the interface. Okay, so then we can move now to news that we've introduced in actual CAWI and CATI and CAPI settings. So let's start with CATI, which is the first tab. So in here you still have the introduction text. One small news is that you can decide if to show codes or hide codes in the CATI interface. You have new call settings. So this is similar to what you have now, but we've introduced different types of attempts and delays according to different outcomes and status. So you can set a maximum number of attempts, which is a total limit. And then for each outcomes and status that you may have in your CATI survey, you can decide the delay. So after how many minutes that contact that has as last outcome no answer or busy line will be displayed again by the CATI interface. And then you can also, if you want, customize the attempts, limit the attempts by outcome. So you can say if this type of outcome is included in the total limit of 10 in this case, if this specific outcome will have its own specific limit that it's just about this outcome, so just about no answer. In this case, I can, within this 10 attempts, I will be able to do just 5 attempts as no answer. Or you can decide to don't include in the limit these specific outcomes. That means that this outcome won't be counted in this total limit of 10. Then we have obviously the major news that are related to the CAWI surveys, so to web interviews. And as far as web interviews, what we introduced as new feature and what we changed about it is like a multitude of things. First thing is the CAWI layout. We've introduced some new templates, which are these four. These are 4 new templates that you will be able to use in IdSurvey 6. You are still able to go back and use any of the version 5 or 5.5 templates. Once you decide you want to use one of the IdSurvey 6 template, you can also change the color, the background. You can decide about the graphic look of your survey. And then in the layout, you have the same settings you had before, but you also have some new ones. One of the main new ones is the automatically confirm questionnaire. So basically, if you enable this at the end of the questionnaire, the interview will be automatically saved without having to click on the confirm interview button. And then the logo tab, where you can import your logo to associate with your web interview. In the contact options, the main news is that we renamed anonymous distribution. So basically, this is the type of distribution where you don't have a specific link for each one of your respondents, but you have one only link, generic link, for all the respondents. In this case, another major news is that you don't have to create fake contacts to associate to your survey if you're carrying on an anonymous distribution, because the software will automatically create a new profile each time that a new access to the questionnaire is made clicking on the link. Then we have 2 other news. The generate link is again where you have the standard general link of the survey. And then we also added the redirect link box where you can insert a completed link, quota full link, and out of target link for external panel to integrate with IdSurvey. The main news about CAWI obviously is what we also presented during the IdSurvey 6 event, which is the email sender. So now with IdSurvey, you're able to send email invitation to join your CAWI, your web surveys and interviews. You have two types of campaigns. So a campaign is basically one sending of this invitation. You have the standard campaign and the smart campaign. I will start with the standard campaign and then I will show you what is different in the smart campaign. So to create a new one, you click on select and you enter the campaign setting step-by-step module. So you name your campaign, you decide a sender name that will be basically the sender name displayed by your respondents, and a sender email. Obviously, the first time that you set up these campaigns and that you use this sender email, you will be requested a domain verification process so that that IdSurvey is sure that you're using an email address that you're allowed to use to send this email invitation. Then I click on next and I move to the second step of this campaign creation. So the second step is invitation. In here you create your email. So you decide the subject of the email and the email body. In the email body, you are able to use text piping, so to include the name, surname, or any other information about your respondents, using the curly brackets to include this information, basically writing within curly brackets the name of the field you want to display. And then once you've created the text, to add the link to your survey, you simply click on this button, CAWI link. You can customize the label of the button. You click on OK. And automatically, IdSurvey will insert and associate to this button a customized link, which can be basically an authenticated link with the identification or AGI code associated to each one of your respondents, or an anonymous link if the anonymous distribution is activated. So it's automatically done by IdSurvey. As you can see on bottom right, you can see a preview or send a test email to see how the email looks like and if everything is as intended. Then, if you click on the plus button that you find near the invitation bar, you can add reminders to your campaign. You can add up to 2 reminders, and again, you will have to set the reminders up exactly as you did for the invitation, and then you decide as the reminder will be sent later, after how many days from the first invitation this will be sent, for example after 10 days. And again, you can send a test email or see a preview. If you want to delete a reminder, you can click on the X and delete that. Then I will move to the following step, which is the target. As I said before, right now we are doing standard campaigns. So in standard campaigns, you decide how many contacts do you want to invite to your survey. So in here, you say to the software how many contacts you can send invitation to. So you write into this box the number. I can write 15. and the software will check your contacts management section to see if you have enough contacts to send this number of emails to. If you don't, as in this case, you will get this error, this alert message. This is not an error. You will still send the invitation, but the software is telling you that you don't have enough contacts to send that number of email. If you want, you can also select the target within this number. So you say, I want to send 5 emails to, I don't know, to contacts with the positioning flow as completed interview. So you can also decide the target of this invitation. Okay, then you move to the last phase, which is a recap, where you can see a recap of what you've just done up to now. If you want, you can edit any of this step. And then if everything is okay, you click on Program. If you click on Program, you decide the date and the time that you will send your campaign, and then automatically IdSurvey at that date and time, we will send the invitation as you decide and programmed. Now, if I want to start a new campaign can be sent just to contacts that basically you haven't already sent an invitation before. So I will create a new one just to show you in which part the smart campaign is different. So if you create a smart campaign, you will have to do the same. So let's say Webinar Smart is still IdWeb. I will still have to create the invitation, inserting the link with CAWI link. And then what is different is the target section, because smart campaigns works this way. Basically, if you set quotas in your surveys and in your target, you say, I want to complete this number of interviews, because the difference is that in a smart campaign, you specify how many interviews you want to complete, while on standard campaigns, you specify how many contacts you want to reach, how many invitations you want to send. So in this case, I will write 5 again. And what IdSurvey does, if you have quotas set, is that automatically it sends emails first to those contacts that are included in those quotas, so that can be useful to complete and go with quota full on these quotas you set. And then if you don't reach the number of interviews you specified in the target, you will send invitation also to other contacts which are not part of the quotas. So basically, with one click, you may have IdSurvey working for you to reach the target you are interested in to complete your survey as you said. So that's the only difference between smart campaigns and standard campaigns. Okay, so then for another tab that we have is the CAPI tab. The only difference is that we renamed and relabeled this button again as anonymous distribution. So exactly as we have for CAWI now, if you enable this button, the CAPI app will automatically create new profiles, new anonymous profiles, every time you click on Start Interview. If you're not carrying on a survey that has a specific respondents and contacts to contact. So you simply enable this and the app will create anonymous contacts for you for each one of the interviewer using the app. Okay, so now I will move to another section, which is one of the main sections where we have news, which is questions, so the Questionnaire Builder. So in the Questionnaire Builder, as you can see, we have a new look, a new interface to work with, which is much simpler and easier to work with. You still have the two areas, one for the pages that you can insert in your questionnaire and the other one for the page preview. You still have the plus button, the gear wheel button and the edit pages button. So again, to add a new page, what you have to do as you do now is click on the plus, and decide the type, the first question you want to add into that page. So now you can choose between 3 types of questions: basic questions, matrix question, and 3D matrix questions. And within each one of these type of questions, you will have a list of preset type of basic questions or matrix or 3D matrix. As you can see, we have some of the already known ones. We've just splitted the open-end into text, number, long text, and regex. And then you have some new types of question, like the slider, the rating, the date type of question, the drop-down. So for example, if I want to add a slider into this page, I click on slider. Automatically, again, the software will create a new page with the slider question. You can go into text. So right now, when you click on the area of the question, you will display the text editor. You write the text, and then you can move around to the next item and object with your tab button in your keyboard. And in the slider question, as you had before, you have settings. So you can decide which type of slider you want to include, the standard or the comparative. You can decide minimum and maximum value, increase by, you can decide to show labels, and so on. If you want to add a new question to your page, what you have to do is to click on this plus button you find on the lower part of the page. So again, you click on this and you decide the type of question you want to add. The rating, for example. And in this case, you can decide the type of rating, so stars, emoji, or like and dislike. Now, as you can see, you still have the same icons, but you have also a new one. So now you have the question settings button, and then you have this new button here. So we decided to split the logic condition into a specific button, which is this one. So in the question you find the display condition, in the page again you find the display condition, and into the answer option you find the display condition and the skip condition. So we decided to introduce a specific button just for logic conditions. And what we also introduced is that when you include a display condition in your questionnaire, in the graphic interface, you also have this display condition marked as a red F. And if you mouse over this item, you can see also a preview of the condition that is set. So at a glance, you can see where you set the condition and what these conditions are. Another news that we've introduced is that now you don't have to specify the logic condition of specific question you put in the pages condition, because if IdSurvey finds a page which will be empty, that page won't be displayed. So right now you can create a page, and if within that page you have 1, 2, 5 questions with logic condition, you just have to specify the filter, the condition on those items, and not to copy and paste the entire filters also in the page. Then, if you want to add an answer to your question, you have this button here on top, on bottom right. The news is that you can also decide from using this little triangle button the type of question that you can add into your question. So the type of answer, sorry. So for example, I don't want to add a rating and then a mono-exclusive one. And you can do this really easily. If you want to create a group of questions, you have the button on bottom left of a specific question. Just to have a look around, other types of questions that you can find are the rank order. You have the descriptive text, which is a text with no answer option. So for example, if you want to add at the beginning of your questionnaire just an introduction without any answer option to click, you can do this. In answer options, you have a new button and function which is out of target. So if you enable the out of target in one of these answer options, the respondent will be screened out from your survey, and it will display the out of target text that you can decide and customize in your survey settings. And then another major news is that right now you can also decide if a question is mandatory or not to answer. So up to now you had all questions as mandatory to answer, but with IdSurvey 6 you can disable the mandatory answer button and make a question optional. So this way you have the possibility to insert optional questions in your questionnaire without having to use any specific JavaScript as you did before. As you can see right now, even if I scroll on the page, I still have my page menu bar fixed on top part of the page. That we included so that you can save the page in any moment without scrolling back to the top part of the window to see the Save Page button. As far as Tools button, I will show you the ID code briefly, because obviously in the ID code you will find all the new formatting and codification of the new question types. Our suggestion is that you start with the graphical editor, and then as always you learn how to program and create that with the ID code. But we have also some other major news. So within the ID code window you can now search and replace. So for example, if I want to replace IdSurvey with IdSurvey 6, now I can do this within IdSurvey, within ID code, without having to do any modification outside the software and then copy and paste that into ID code. And you can also work with full screen, so you don't have to move around the window, but you can click on full screen and work on the entire code of your ID code questionnaire. Then another thing that we've presented during the IdSurvey 6 event was the Intellisense. So we introduced the Intellisense, which is a tool that will help you out to use text piping and logic condition in ID code. So let's say that I want to set a logic condition, a display condition for this page 2. So I will start writing my codification /f if I open the bracket, and then you can use the Intellisense. So to use the Intellisense, you have to click on your keyboard on buttons Control and space. Clicking on this, you will see the list of the questions that you have available in your questionnaire to use for a logic condition. Or you can also see the fields of your contact database that you can use for to build the logic condition. So right now I say I want to use this, so please rate. Then I insert the symbols that I want to use. In this case, let's say equal to. And again, I can use the Intellisense, clicking Control space buttons, and I can basically say what it has to be the answers that I get, or the value that I'm looking for to build this condition. And the same works for text piping. So when I want to display the answer of a previous question or an information of my contact database as a text, question text, answer text, or any other text, to do this, to use text piping, you have to write between square brackets the value that you want to display. So I'm writing the square brackets, and then again I'm using Control space buttons. And I can decide which question I want to use, I want to display in this text, or which information. For example, I want to display the company. So in this case, automatically, it's a curly bracket, automatically IdSurvey will display for you this information. So again, if I want to do this, I will just have to select the question that I want to display with text piping. I'm saving this. Again, all of this news will be included in the knowledge base as articles, and also we will also send newsletters from time to time with some IdSurvey tips, with new tools and things and features that you can use to improve your work and your questionnaires. In the same tools menu, we also introduced the print questionnaire tool, which is basically what you can use to print, physically print your questionnaire. So you can print the questionnaire without the logic condition and filters, or also decide to print filters and logic condition, which will be displayed with the red button and then the condition. So this way you're able to print on paper your questionnaire if you want to correct that, if you want to provide the questionnaire to your customer, if you want to do anything and you need the printed version, you can do this with this new function that you find in Tools button. Again, here it is. Okay, so now I will move to another section of this new version. So we will move to management and to context management. So again, the context management is where you import the list of respondents to associate with your survey. So the main use is that right now we basically mix together the context management and all the tools that you had for CATI on the Tools button. So if I click on the Tools button now, I just have the export results and the open-end encoder, and I don't have all the other appointments management, the the reset attempts, all those others icons and tools that I could use before. I still have them, but right now I find them into the gear wheel button of the context management. So as you can see, you can reassign appointments, manage callback, reset attempts, and so on. Another main use that we have is that when you import your Excel file with the list of respondents, you are not obliged to preset a file in Excel with the IdSurvey column headers. What you can do is that you can import your original file with all your column headers, and then you can associate your column headers to IdSurvey's ones within the software itself. So for example, if I want to import a data file, I will just have to import this in here. So we can use this one, let's say. Then on step 3 of this step-by-step upload window, I basically have the columns that are not identified, so the columns that don't have the column headers compatible with IdSurvey, and I can do this association within IdSurvey itself. So the last name will be translated into surname, phone 1 will be associated to phone number, and for example, phone 2, I say, okay, I don't care about this date, I don't care about this information within IdSurvey, so I want to ignore this column. Once I've associated or ignored all the columns, I will have a recap. So all columns have been identified now, and these are the ones that I will be importing into IdSurvey. Obviously, when you import the respondents and list into IdSurvey, you will have to refer to these names, so to IdSurvey column headers. When you create a logic condition or a text piping, you will always have to refer to the IdSurvey column headers. If I move to step 4 of this importation window, I'm about to import and the number of contacts I'm importing, and then they can associate these respondents and contacts to a specific methodology. So for example, I say I want to contact these people that I'm importing right now just with CATI. So I only enable CATI and I insert the data. And as usual, the IdSurvey will insert respondents into the page. If you decide to associate a contact with another methodology, or with a different methodology, or you want to, I don't know, delete one of these methodology, you can click on the action buttons that you have nearby each contact, and you can click on Associate Modules. So you can change that setting that you've set when you started the importation. And you click on OK. As you can see, you have the associated modules in here. So the ones that are in blue are the one associated, and the one in gray are the one not associated. Nearby each one of these respondents, you see the last outcomes. In this case, it's the complete interview. And then another news is that you can use this section here to filter your list. So you can filter the list according to various parameters, as you can see in here, the position in the flow. So you can see all contacts with a completed interview, or with the voicemail status, or with the incorrect number. So you can filter according to a tons of value and parameters. Last outcome dates, the appointment date, the interviewer that is associated with a specific respondent, and so on. So once you've created this filter, you can save the filter as a view. So if you save the view, you can associate and create a title for this. So let's say completed webinar. You can decide if the view is private or is a team view. So if it's private, that means that only the person that has created the view will be able to display that. If it's a team view, everyone will be able to display this. And you can decide if this filter is valid and this view is valid just for this survey, or for all the surveys you have in your IdSurvey. Then you save, and you display it in here. And if you click in here, you can see all your views, the shared views, private views, and so on. Obviously, when you use a view, you can do action on this view. So you can filter and save the view, and then use any of these actions you find in here to intervene just on those type of contacts. Okay, so now I will move on to another section, which is the tools. As I said before, in the tools, you now have just the export results and the open-end encoder. And in the export results, you have also some news, because we've included 2 new types of export formats. So you can export in now in Excel and in SSS. So you still have the same type of exportation formats you had before, but now you can also export in Excel. So again, as before, you can export complete or partial interviews, codes or labels, and then you click on export, and you export the file with the format that you selected. And here you have your export file. Okay, so let me see if we've gone through everything. I have some notes in here. Okay, one thing that is quite important is that right now you have the link of URL of your platform that you can use to share a specific page or a specific section with our support team, for example, or with your colleagues. Basically, the IdSurvey will save that URL that includes the specific section or page where you are at, so that after the login, the person that you're sharing the link with will enter that page that you were looking at or that you wanted to share. And this is really important, for example, when you create a new ticket in the support area and you say, please help me with this specific question at this specific page, you can share the link of that page that you display so that the support team is able to help you out faster and better. So now back on the home page, another thing is that as before, you still have the direct support link in here. So just clicking in here, you are able to enter with your credentials the support area to send tickets. And you have the send feedback button, which allows you to send us feedback or new requests for new features so that we are able to include them in following updates and upgrades. So for now, thank you very much. And again, if you have any question, we are available in the chat. Thank you and have a nice day.